It is, if I may say so, a matter of enormous encouragement that the government of Italy has demonstrated an exemplary willingness to show leadership in this complex debate. Indeed, I was delighted a few weeks ago at the time of the G20 gathering in London to arrange a meeting with Prime Minister Berlusconi, other national leaders, and the heads of international organizations to discuss how it might be possible to find ways to mobilize the resources needed to help the rainforest countries protect and sustain these critical ecosystems. I was immensely heartened by Prime Minister Berlusconi's offer to make a full consideration of the options to halt deforestation during this year's G8 process, and I much look forward to hearing about progress with those conversations in due course. So it seems, ladies and gentlemen, at last, that the world is beginning to wake up to the critical ecological challenges that it faces, and this is obviously to be warmly welcomed. As we take on board the implications of low carbon and more resource efficient development, then we will certainly need to adapt our economies accordingly, including in the period of recovery that will hopefully begin soon. Indeed, history shows us that those who emerge from recessions with the healthiest economies are those who point their economies towards the future, not the past. And the future will inevitably be low carbon, resource efficient, energy efficient, much more in harmony with natural systems, so that we work with nature and not against her, as has been the case so disastrously up to now, and therefore more sustainable. This should not present any problems for Italy, because your ability for innovation is world famous. Italy is one of the countries that really can lead in the market for new ideas. During the Renaissance, you were at the center of a new way of thinking in bringing a new scientific understanding to the mainstream. We now need an environmental renaissance, taking scientific knowledge, innovation, and imagination, and a changed perception of man's relationship with nature that once again allows us to participate with her in harmony rather than in arrogant enmity, thereby putting a new way of thinking at the center of our philosophy. Einstein famously said, "You cannot solve a problem from the same consciousness that created it. You must learn to see the world anew." That is our challenge, ladies and gentlemen, to break the conventional mold and to set out a new vision, a new set of values, and a new partnership to solve the problem of climate change. A phrase associated with that great Roman, Julius Caesar, is, of course, crossing the Rubicon. Last month in Brazil, I warned that the scientific evidence showed we had less than 100 months before we were at our own Rubicon and there was no going back. We now only have 99 months, actually very nearly 98, before we reach the point of no return, with decisions that will lock us in to our future course. The clock is ticking away inexorably. 99 months will pass in a flash, believe you me. Does the world really have to run into the proverbial brick wall to discover that all the warnings were in fact true? It will be too late by then to rectify the situation. Only nature will be able to heal the terrible damage we do to her. And that may take thousands and thousands of years without man's interference. It's happened before. So will those decisions lead to a sustainable, low-carbon future, or a path littered with the catastrophic effects scientists and economists are warning us of? In closing, perhaps I could just emphasize what seems to be the one central point. History, ladies and gentlemen, will judge us by how we respond to this challenge of climate change. Therefore, do we want our children and grandchildren to look back and see this as the moment when we embraced the opportunities, learned from past mistakes, and set off toward a new and enlightened age, a renaissance that led the world toward a genuinely sustainable existence that depended on living off income rather than nature's precious capital? Or will they see this as the time when we allowed a new dark age to sprawl across our future, plunging us on a course towards catastrophe? I hope and pray with all my heart that it will be the former, for all the information we need by way of warning has been assembled. As we embark on a new course, it is my sincere hope that the United Kingdom and Italy will once again find our histories intertwined, this time with a common purpose to lead the world away from disaster and towards a fair, safe, and sustainable future. In a number of areas, the solutions, by way of technology, are already invented, but we urgently need to alter our entire worldview, which has helped us to reach the climate and ecosystem crunch, by learning once again how to work in harmony with nature's genius and how to adapt our human technological genius accordingly. Se non lo faremo, allora un'autentica sostenibilità non sarà che una vuota e futile chimera, ed i nostri nipoti non potranno mai e poi mai perdonarci.